Question 32. But doesn't Paul argue for a head covering for women in worship by appealing to the created order in 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verses 13 to 15? Why is the head covering not binding today while the teaching concerning submission and headship is? The key question here is whether Paul is saying that creation dictates a head covering, or that creation dictates that we use culturally appropriate expressions of masculinity and femininity, which just happen to be a head covering for women in that setting. We think the latter is the case. The key verses are: judge for yourselves. Is it proper for a wife to pray to God with her head uncovered? Does not nature itself teach you that if a man wears long hair it is a disgrace to him? But if a woman has long hair, it is her glory, for her hair is given to her for a covering. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verses 13 to 15. How did nature teach that long hair dishonored a man and gave women a covering? Nature has not endowed women with more hair than men. In fact, if nature takes its course, men will have more hair than women because it will cover their face as well as their head. There must be another way that nature teaches on this subject. We believe custom and nature conspire in this pedagogy. On the one hand, custom dictates what hair arrangements are generally masculine or feminine. On the other hand, nature dictates that men feel ashamed when they wear symbols of femininity. We could feel the force of this by asking the men of our churches: does not nature teach you not to wear a dress to church? The teaching of nature is the natural inclination of men and women to feel shame when they abandon the culturally established symbols of masculinity or femininity. Nature does not teach what the symbols should be. When Paul says that a woman's hair is given to her for a covering in verse 15, he means that nature has given woman the hair and the inclination to follow prevailing customs of displaying her femininity, which in this case included letting her hair grow long and drawing it up into a covering for her head. So Paul's point in this passage is that the relationships of manhood and womanhood, which are rooted in the created order, 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verses 7 to 9, should find appropriate cultural expression in the worship service. Nature teaches this by giving men and women deep and differing inclinations about the use of masculine and feminine symbols.